My name is Madison Cole, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the invisible thread holding my family together. At 28, I had built a career as a marketing consultant in a small suburban town, yet no matter how much I achieved, I was always the scapegoat in my family's story. If something went wrong, a broken glass, an unpaid bill, even a gloomy mood, I was the one to blame. My parents, Evelyn and Robert, cared more about appearances than authenticity. To the outside world, they were the perfect couple in their late 50s, hosting glittering parties in their home. But beneath the surface, they struggled with debts and denial. My older brother, Ethan, for years my senior, was the golden child. His reckless spending and irresponsibility were brushed aside, celebrated even, while my hard work was overlooked. And then there was Aunt Lydia, my mother's sharp-tongued sister, who seemed to relish every chance to cut me down with her words. When Ethan announced his wedding, the family buzzed with excitement. Everyone called it the event of the year, the celebration that would show off our family's unity. Beautiful invitations tied with golden ribbons arrived in every neighbor's mailbox. Everyone, that is, except me. At first, I thought it was a mistake. But when I called my mother, her voice was ice cold. "Sorry, dear," she said. "This wedding is only for the people we actually love." I heard my father chuckle in the background. Finally, a wedding without the family disappointment. Aunt Lydia added smugly, "Real family only means real family." Those words pierced deeper than any knife. For years, I had endured being overlooked on birthdays, dismissed during Christmas dinners, and ignored when I graduated with honors or received a promotion. Still, I had quietly paid their bills, covered Ethan's debts, and helped them through financial disasters. I thought maybe this wedding would be my chance to belong. Instead, it became the final confirmation that I never would. For days, I felt crushed. But then a thought came to me. Why beg for a seat at a table where I was never wanted? Instead of crumbling, I decided to take back control. I opened my laptop, searched for flights, and booked a ticket to New Orleans, Louisiana, a city I'd always dreamed of visiting. When I stepped off the plane, the humid air wrapped around me like a warm embrace. The streets were alive with music, food, and laughter. While my family toasted champagne at a wedding I wasn't invited to, I walked cobblestone streets filled with brass bands and smiles from strangers. That night, as I leaned over a balcony overlooking the Mississippi River, I whispered to myself, "They cannot hurt me if I'm not there to be hurt." New Orleans was everything my family wasn't: warm, colorful, and full of joy. I explored the French Quarter, ate powdered sugar bayonets at Café du Monde, and sipped chicory coffee while jazz musicians played on the street corners. For the first time in years, I felt alive. I wasn't a disappointment here. I wasn't a shadow. I was simply Madison. I shared photos online, not out of spite, but as a quiet celebration of my freedom. Friends cheered me on in the comments, reminding me I was worthy of happiness. But on my third evening, just as I relaxed in a small jazz club, my phone buzzed. It was Ethan. The message stunned me. "Wedding cancelled. We need you. Please help." My heart pounded as messages flooded in. My mother wrote, "We were only joking, Madison. You belong with us. Please, you have to help us fix this." My father demanded, "It's just money. Families help each other. Don't be stubborn." Aunt Lydia guilt-tripped, "If you cared about your brother, you wouldn't let his big day fall apart." When I finally answered Ethan's call, his voice was shaky. "Maddie, please. We just need $20,000 to cover the venue debt. If you help, the wedding can still happen." I laughed bitterly. "Funny. I thought I wasn't real family." He stammered, "I didn't mean it like that." But we both knew he did. They all did. As I sat in my hotel room that night, the city lights sparkling outside, I realized the truth. For years, I had been their hidden safety net. They had dismissed me as nothing, yet relied on me for everything. And now, when their grand performance was about to collapse, they reached for me once again. This time, I didn't reach back. Instead, I poured myself a glass of wine, posted another photo of my trip against a fiery sunset, and captioned it. "Sometimes exclusion is the gift. Sometimes distance is the cure." By the time I returned home, the damage had already begun. The wedding vendors pulled out, the planner quit, and whispers spread quickly through our small town. The Cole family can't even pay their bills. The venue released a public statement online. Due to unpaid balances, the Cole reservation has been cancelled. Social media exploded with gossip. My brother's fiancé posted cryptic captions about betrayal, while my mother, once addicted to curating perfect family moments, went silent. My father looked defeated in candid photos, no longer the polished man he pretended to be. And me. I watched it all unfold with a calm heart. For years, I had carried their burdens in silence. Now, they carried the weight of their own actions. My mother's final text read, "You've embarrassed us enough. I hope you're happy." My father's was colder. "Don't bother coming back. You made your choice." But for the first time, their words didn't cut me. I realized they weren't angry because I betrayed them. They were angry because I stopped being useful. Meanwhile, my life flourished. I thrived at work, surrounded myself with friends who celebrated me, and even laughed freely at a co-workers gathering one night. Looking around that table, glasses raised in joy, I thought, this is real family. I posted a picture with the caption, "Real family isn't defined by invitations. It's defined by love." Dozens of people responded, sharing their own stories of exclusion. My words gave them courage, and their voices gave me strength. Ethan called one last time, desperation in his voice. "Maddie, we've lost everything. Please, just this once." I took a deep breath. "Ethan, I've given just this once my whole life. You made me feel like nothing, but I was everything you needed. Now, you'll have to stand without me." And with that, I hung up and blocked their numbers for good. From that day forward, my life was no longer tied to their shadows. I poured my energy into growth, taking art classes, traveling, and even starting a blog called Building Your Own Table. To my surprise, it grew quickly. Thousands of readers resonated with my story, sharing how they too had learned to walk away from toxic family ties. Occasionally, I heard whispers of my parents' struggles, downsizing their home, working odd jobs. My brother left scrambling after his fiancée walked away. Aunt Lydia faded into silence. But I didn't gloat. Instead, I focused on healing, therapy, and building the kind of connections I had always longed for. One evening, I hosted a dinner party in my apartment, surrounded by friends who loved me without conditions. As laughter filled the room, I raised my glass and felt an overwhelming sense of peace. I had finally built my own table, and at that table, I was no longer the family disappointment. I was valued, celebrated, and free. And that, I realized, was the greatest victory of all.